Hey everyone, Dario again. We haven't been on YouTube much lately, but I figured I'd give you an update where I've been at the last 6 months or so. I think the last video I did was pulling apart the aluminum 5.3 to build the aluminum 4.8 for the Pinto. I'm still doing all that. I've just got tied up with some other stuff. I'll show you what I got going on right now.
What we do here, let's go back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's been a long time. I got the great idea after that. I was kind of messing around at home, doing a few jobs. The phone never stopped ringing, and I decided to pull the trigger on another shop. Well, at the same time, I decided that I wanted to take the Chevette to LS Fest for LS Fest West in Las Vegas, and that was at the beginning of May. So I pulled the trigger on a new shop, signed all the papers, never even moved into it, spent 2 weeks getting the car ready so I could take it to Vegas, put new turbos on it, new intake, bunch of other little stuff that I had to do over the winter, and dragged it out to the very last minute kind of thing. So we went to LS Fest West. It was awesome. It was like 1,800 miles, had a wicked time. Car didn't do that great. We had some fuel system issues, but we made a bunch of passes, met a lot of cool people. The Holly guys are great. Got shot on an episode of Daily Transmission Tangents on the Hoonigan channel. So I'll put the link for that below. I also got shot with the Holly Performance guys. They did a little thing on my car. So I don't have a ton of footage and stuff from where the car was at LS Fest because I was busy racing and doing burnouts and doing all that kind of stuff. So check out those two videos. I'll post them below. You can also check out Dragzine did an article on the car that's been pretty popular. So I'll post the link to that below. And I'll post the link to some of the other YouTubers and stuff that I met down there. We had a really good time. So the car didn't work out exactly. We had fuel system issues. It only ended up going 890 at 160, I think it was, 159. It should have been way faster than that. It's got new Borg Warner S369 turbos on it. So we're down on power. I never really got a chance to do much else with it this year, so it's kind of just we're regrouping this winter. I'm going to change up a few things. I'll be documenting that all on the channel, and we'll see where we're going from there.
give this man for shredding his tires for you.
We had a little bit of fun with the Chevette, like a week's worth. Like I said, drove 1,800 miles each way to go to LS Fest, had a bunch of fun with that. Then we came back, and then it was just, I've been going non-stop lately. I used to share a shop with my buddy Toma. He had the dyno, I did the work. It was pretty tight. He ended up buying a property and moving his dyno out to there, and I was just kind of messing around and debating on semi-retirement or something like that. But then everybody was calling and they said, can you do this and can you do this? And I kind of made the decision that I either had to stop doing it completely or I had to pull the trigger and go full bore. So me being me, I went right off the deep end and here we are. So I have 9 cars in the shop right now. It's about a 2,000 square foot shop. It's like 40 by 50. And I've been full from probably the first week I've been here. It's just been insane. I've put together about 3 or 4 complete Turbo LS swaps. I'll maybe throw some pictures of some of the ones that I've done and the stuff that I've done. And I have a couple here and a couple others waiting outside for smaller jobs, and I'm literally booked for 6 months straight. So I'm gonna try to update the channel as much as I possibly can, but I also have to pay the bills. This is my buddy slash customer, Justin. This is a 400 plus cubic inch small block Ford nitrous car, runs low 5s in the 8th. I originally did the cage in this thing. It was an 850 cage 2 or 3 years ago. And then he's just brought it back for me to update it to a 25.5 so that he can go a little deeper into the 4s, hopefully next year. So I'm just updating all the bars. I cut out all the stuff that wasn't necessary. And then we're just gonna be redoing he started redoing some of the tubs and stuff in the back and changed up the diff and all that kind of random stuff. So I'll probably post a few pictures of this when it's done. I still have a little bit of stuff to do, so. This is my friends. A lot of my friends are customers and a lot of my customers turned into friends. So this is my friend slash customer, Josh. This is his Nova. It had a big block nitrous combo. It wasn't nothing crazy. It went low 10s. We're switching it up to a L33, twin VS Racing S366s, and it's gonna have a Holly and a bunch of other random stuff that kind of goes along with turboing it. It should be a pretty cool street car, way more drivability, etc., and something that he can go to the track and run some decent numbers with and still cruise on a Friday night. So that's one of the next jobs I'll be doing. This is my buddy Ryan. He actually has the Zephyr wagon that I built on my channel. If you look way back, it's the one, it runs like low 10s. This is his money pit. He's had this thing for 20 years almost. It's a 74 Vega. It's got a conventional dart blocked 400 small block Chev in it with dart heads. And it's got a Dana 60, and it's got aerospace brakes, and it's got all kinds of stuff. He was originally one of my original customers when I started first building turbo stuff about 7-8 years ago. And this car originally had a 70 mil on it, and it ran low 10s, mid 10s, and it was actually a really fun car, but it's his kind of constant upgrading that we're always doing. I'm freshening the tranny right now and put a billet aluminum trans brake and all that kind of random stuff. So right now it's here because I'm helping him get through the wiring. He finally decided to ditch the blow-through carb and the MSD BTM and get into the newer technology so we can get him some stuff, some data, so he can get down the track and actually have some decent numbers and we can understand what's going on. So it's gonna be on E85. It's got Latvian 210s, it's got a MagnaFuel pump in it, MS3X, LS coils, Edelbrock intake, Fuel Lab regulator, Holly elbow, Performance World throttle body, like all kinds of stuff. It's got a treadstone intercooler mounted in the front. It used to be unintercooled for a while, and then we've just been constantly upgrading it, and now we're just doing the wiring, so now we can finally get some data and see when and why it's making the power, and whatever we need to do to make more power. So that's that. So here's another customer car waiting in the wings. It's a Mustang 2, obviously, Cobra. It's gonna have a 347 stroker in it with, I think, a supercharger of like a root style supercharger, I'm pretty sure. I'm just doing a back half on it in a roll cage. It's just one of the next ones that comes in. So this is my buddy Corey. It's a 09 Colorado, I wanna say. 09 Colorado. It's got a 6.2 and a 4L80 with a PTC converter, and it's gonna have a narrowed 8.8. It's gonna run on a gold box with the transmission control. And we're doing twin 61, 65 on-3 turbos on it, and it's got the 2-into-1 intercooler there. It's been sitting in the corner in my shop. I might have had this in one of the videos when I was working at home. I've had this thing lurking around for a while. I just got to get it done. It's on the books to get done now. So I'll probably be posting either pictures on my Instagram or some video of it getting built. But he's a fan of gold and black, so that's why you notice all the gold stuff. So, and it also pisses off our buddy Mitch. So this is another one. I don't do too much Ford stuff, but this is my friend Stefan from Performance Fuel Injection. This is his 5-liter that he's had forever. It's another one that's on the books. We went through his 302. It had some broken ring lands. I'm gonna shave the bay and then put the engine back in, and it used to have a Vortex supercharger on it. Now we're gonna go to an on-3 kit with a 7875 and just kind of get it all back together and running for him so he can enjoy it. So the main reason I didn't do any racing this year is mostly because of all the stuff I got going on at the shop. The shop's in the background here. I'm just outside. It's cold, it's snowing, it's winter, it's almost dark. It's like 4:30 probably in the afternoon. Years ago I had a bagged dually and I always wanted a tow rig, but back then semi wheels and stuff were really expensive. But I always said if I ever did one now, I'd want to do the current body style at the time, which was 07 to 13 trucks. So I picked up a 2-wheel drive base model crew cab long box truck, and then I built it into what I wanted, and this is what I built. So this thing's an 08. It's bagged. It's got a small body drop on it just to get the chassis, the body mounts have just been lowered down to get it closer to the chassis. It's on milled down 22.5-inch Peterbilt wheels. They're 22s. And then I put a dually box on it with all the rear air suspension. It's got a ladder bar type rear air suspension. It's got a 6-liter with a 6L80, and of course, because it's me, it's turboed. I'll just give you a quick walk around here. It's a riot to drive. I've always wanted a badass tow rig, but it always has to be my style, so this is what I ended up building. Of course, always on a budget like I normally do everything, but it's just something I can throw my whole family in, throw the dog in, we go for a cruise. It gets lots of attention because it's 22 feet long, and it's just a really fun truck. So So here's the under hood shot. It's got a York engine driven compressor for the air suspension. It was MAF at first, you can still see the stock MAF sensor, but I maxed that out pretty quick, even before it ran out of injector. So I've switched it over. It's got a 3-bar MAP sensor. It has a speed density tune in it, so it's just running speed density. Like I said, the cast wheel 7875, 3-inch exhaust all the way to the back. It's got wheel tubs in here where probably on these trucks the battery used to live back there. And my buddy Brandon made up me some control arms to get this thing down on the ground, and then I just bagged it all. I'll throw up a couple pics of me when I was building it, what it looked like stock. It's just a really fun truck, and it surprises the shit out of a lot of people when I pull up next to them and I actually can tree someone with a lot faster car from the light in a 6,200 pound dually. So here's another car I'm working on. This is my friend slash customer Brett's. It's a 2012 CTS-V. It's just being converted from blower to turbo right now. It has a 427 LSX type engine, based engine. Air-to-air intercooler, twin S480 turbos. It's got a Holley Dominator in it. It's got a cage, welds, coilovers, all kinds of stuff have been built. There's some stuff available for these cars, but there's not a ton of stuff available for these cars. So it's been at a couple different shops, and I'm just tying up all the loose ends there's a few things that needed to be changed up to actually make this thing work properly. And there's a few other things that needed to be done on it. So it's here. I'm hoping to have it wrapped up in the next little bit here and get it out so he can take it out and half mile it next year. He hits up the Time Attack, the Pikes Peak, and the Colorado, the one in Colorado, and the California ones and stuff like that. This thing has the IRS has been ditched. It's got a 9-inch from Dutchman Motorsports and a ladder bar set up with coilovers in the back, just for a little more ease of reliability over the IRS stuff. So the last car I'll show you that I'm working on right now is this S14 240. It's my customer Keegan's. It's a pretty nice car. It's got wide body, carbon hood, carbon trunk lid, carbon doors, all kinds of good stuff. He brought it to me. It has a 6-liter, square port 6-liter, and a T56 in it, and he just wanted a little more jam out of it. So I wasn't really happy with a lot of the kits that are out on the market right now, so we just pieced together this kit I built from scratch. It's got a 7875, same as my dually. It's LS3 intake. It's got flipped truck headers going forward into a crossover that kind of goes down below and then back up. And then it's got a 3-inch exhaust all the way out to the back, and then 3-inch intercooler piping that comes all the way down in the front. This car was originally an SR20 car, and this is the intercooler off of it, but he was running the 6-liter NA, but should have a little more jam with it now. Should be a fun car, probably make 650 wheel pretty effortlessly on low boost. So we'll see how that goes. This one should be wrapped up in the next week, I hope, week or so. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll post some pictures of this probably in the next video when I get it all wrapped up. I've always been a fan of Aussie style burnout cars. I've been a fan of burnouts in general for pretty much my whole life. And after going to LS Fest, doing the Hoonigan thing, and watching they have a thing called Cinco de Mayo Tire de Frio on the Saturday night of LS Fest, I really thought, I'm like, oh, I want to build a Aussie style burnout car, because nobody are really doing that much here. People are doing certain things, but I just wanted to build something that was completely ridiculous and have fun doing it. So I was looking around and I was like, we were gonna try to figure out how to put an LS in a golf cart and just do burnouts with that, but I was like, well, maybe I should look for the smallest car that I could do it with. So if you've seen my Instagram, you've already know what it is. But my friends were like, oh yeah, you could get this car and you could mount some turbos and do it that way. And I'm like, no, if I'm doing an Aussie style burnout car, I'm doing it Aussie style. So I'm like, it's gonna have a big blower, big obnoxious tire smoke, burn the tires off till they pop kind of thing. And then I finally found this car on a local Facebook classifieds that the guy had to get rid of it. Here it is. It's a 1977 Austin Mini. I pretty much saved this thing from the scrapper. The guy who was losing his storage, and he just had to get it out of there. It's missing everything. It was actually a parts car, but the body wasn't terrible, and it's not like you come across an Austin Mini every day, especially one that you're gonna cut up anyways and turn into something that's rear wheel drive. So it had the grille, it's missing a bunch of stuff. I ordered some headlight buckets on eBay, and these are just some random headlights that I had kicking around off a JDM Miata actually. It's pretty much stripped right out. The seats are just kind of sitting in there because I had to prove to everybody, being 6'7", that I could still fit in an Austin Mini. All the back's gonna be cut out. It's gonna have a narrowed 8-inch. I've started on the chassis for it. It's 2x3 square tubing. It's gonna have a narrowed Chevette suspension in the front, and it's gonna have this. The engine that this stuff is displayed on is Josh's for his twin turbo car. I just have the blower mocked up on it. So this is a 6V71 off of a Detroit diesel. It's been converted by a shop in the States, and then I just bought all the random stuff. I have the pulleys for it. I'm just waiting for the crank hub adapter to adapt that part. The lower intake is a Holley high ram. That's just the base with the rails. It's got 210-pound injectors. I'm gonna run it on methanol fuel. So I got 2 regulators mocked up. I haven't totally figured out what I'm doing. I'm just pretty much making things look funny right now. But the engine that I'm gonna build it's gonna be a 5.3, but it's gonna be all the leftover junk that I got kicking around. I have a block that's kind of okay, and I got some pistons from that Pinto motor that I put together with all the valve marks in the pistons. I'm just gonna throw together this pile and turn it into an engine and then just beat it relentlessly. So I'll have probably, the only thing I really have to spend money on is some gaskets. I have a bunch of junk that I don't feel comfortable using for customer stuff, but I have no hesitation putting it in this thing and just beating it relentlessly till I kick the rods out of the thing. So it's gonna run on a stock computer. It's gonna have, what else? Turbo 350, I'm figuring, or a Turbo 400. I haven't totally figured out that part yet. Depends on what space I have. It's got 2 78 mil stock throttle bodies that I just gotta get a adapter plate for. Mailbox, of course. It's probably gonna be somewhere around here, out to here. I'm gonna cut this back, so it's gonna cut back all the way to the edge of the windshield, and that's where the motor's gonna sit. I have exactly enough room with 1/2 inch to spare with the blower drive set up just to make this thing work. So if it doesn't work, I might have to put a plastic windshield in it and move the engine farther back, because I'm not gonna have the blower pulley sticking out the front of the grill. So that's that. Stay tuned for that. That's gonna be the next big thing. I've been collecting parts. Me and my son, he's 11 years old. He's starting to get into cars, and he's really taking a liking to this. So I'm really trying to get him interested into cars. I've never really pushed cars on my kids, but it's just a natural thing when they're around this type of thing every day. So So I showed you the cars, I showed you the shop, I showed you my dually, all the other kind of stuff I got going on, LS Fest, pretty much everything, like fun every day. So I'm gonna be tearing into the Chevette again this year, getting it ready. The next big thing is LS Fest West 2019, so that's when I'm kind of shooting to have the car out untested again. Hopefully get some dyno time this year instead of just totally winging it and going by the seat of our pants. The Mini I'm hoping to bring to LS Fest West 2 because it's so small. I don't need that big of a trailer to put the Chevette and the Mini, and then I'll bring it down there and I'll be doing burnouts all the time. So I got about 6 months left before I have to have that ready, so we'll see what happens with the amount of work I got on the go. I have some people coming in to help me out, but anything can happen, I guess. But so yeah, thanks for watching. We hit 5,000 subscribers about a month and a half back. I planned to make a video like 2 months ago. It never happened because I was busy building a donk. So I'll post a picture of the donk right now. It's a square port headed 6-liter 78 billet 7875, made 645 wheel horsepower on 15 pounds of boost, I want to say. Stock computer, 4L80, stock diff with Dutchman axles, 410 gears. It's got 26-inch dubs, 14-inch bare brakes. Like if you've seen my Instagram, you've seen it. It's ridiculous. I also built one of the other recent ones was a 77 Nova. It had a rod piston 6-liter in it with some PRC heads, S480. I didn't dyno that one. The guy took it back. He's gonna dyno it in the spring. I'll post a couple pictures. It's a pretty cool, old school Disco Nova, but it came out super clean. Customer was super happy. And yeah, so this is where we're at. Stay tuned. So just subscribe if you didn't, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.